Hello, you've improved and everything. We have Lupe over here. She's studying really close right now, getting ready, right? For our online guests, I don't believe you were here last time. And these princesses were probably the best prepared princesses that we've had in the years that we've had them come to visit. So how are we doing? Can you hear us okay?
Normally, Brian, I can hear you more than anybody else, but today your sound is a little bit low.
Okay. So,
but I think it is also important if you can hear me. Can you hear me well?
Hear you great. Yes.
Is it better now?
Yes, better.
Excellent. Okay.
Okay.
I really wanted to make sure that you were able to hear us, since you're going to be giving some feedback today as well.
Yes.
As we get started, we have a couple roles that we're going to go through, and we have 3 evaluators that are going to be giving you evaluations, and they're right over here, and they have given you feedback before, and they're going to give you more feedback today, so we're keeping you with the same evaluators. And we have our timer, Lee, who is taking a turn. Lee, their speeches are going to be 3 to 5 minutes. Can you tell us how the lights are going to work?
So I will give the part.
Yeah, fancy lights this time. Right. So as you're coming up to a stoplight, what do you do on green? Okay.
So there's 3 to 5?
3 to 5.
So I will give you the green light at 3, the yellow light at 4, and the red light at 5.
Okay. Doesn't mean you have to stop immediately on 5, but just know that you get your 5 minutes. As well as table topics, if we have time, Kathleen she may have some fun questions for you. Okay. Not fun? All right, so we're going to get started, and we're going to ask you this time, as you come up to the lectern here, if you could maybe give us a little bit about you, a little bit of a bio, and then pause, look at our timer, and then start your speech, so that way he knows when to start timing. And with that, our first speaker, if you can help me welcome Natalie Hanna.
Thank
you.
Hello, my name is Natalie Hanna. I am one of 5 kids. I have grown up and I lived my whole life here in Newport. I love to dance. I've been involved in theater, and I have loved it. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. These words by Emma Lazarus are etched inside of the Statue of Liberty herself, welcoming those seeking freedom to our beloved country. Those with a desire to obtain the American dream, that's of becoming anything and everything. This is what celebrating freedom means. Becoming better today than we were yesterday, and becoming better tomorrow than you are today. Becoming all that you ever dreamed you could be. Becoming someone who serves our friends and ultimately our country and world. My school teacher parents have instilled in me a great love for education and knowledge. And thanks to an inspiring 5th grade teacher, I intend to become a school teacher as well. Miss Valessa saw me as my own person. She was a catalyst in my life. In the middle of 5 children, I have often felt that I could never measure up to the successes of my older siblings, nor be as adorable as my younger twin sisters. Feeling lost somewhere in the middle, she helped me realize who I was. She provided me with the opportunities to become every day. Become a better friend, a better sibling, a better daughter. Become an individual with integrity, a hard worker, and someone with a passion for helping others. She taught me that whatever I choose to do in my life, it will never be as important as the person I become. My parents have always believed that I had the potential to achieve my goals, and they have taught me the work ethic needed to do so. Because of them, I have been able to overcome difficult challenges all throughout my life. I have learned to be a person of action. For example, as a sophomore, I decided to try classical ballet and contemporary dance. Although I have been heavily involved in theater, these classes were completely different worlds. But I love dance, so even though the students in my classes were 2 full heads shorter than me, I didn't quit and have dedicated myself to the hard work and time necessary to become a dancer. Becoming also includes seeking joy through serving others. At the end of my sophomore year, I had the privilege of coaching the Special Olympics track team. My job was to help the students learn to run the 100-meter dash. There was one student who, sunshine, rain, or clouds, smiled all the way through the finish line as if he were running his favorite thing in the world. He taught me to become joyful. Joyful service is found in the little acts of kindness we show others. By looking outward, we become happier people. As Mahatma Gandhi said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Pursuing the IB diploma has been a journey of becoming an individual with integrity by expecting me to always give my best. In middle school, I set the goal to maintain straight A's so that I could be valedictorian at graduation. This process of becoming has required me to sacrifice things I wanted to do for the things I needed to do. Ultimately, my success is not measured by reaching this goal, but rather by knowing I have given my best effort to become. Jim Caviezel recently said, "We must ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by our founding fathers. Every generation of Americans needs to know that freedom exists, not to do what you like, but having the right to do what you ought." Freedom is our responsibility to share as we become better people. It is our duty to be more than individuals seeking personal gain. We need to become people who seek to build the integrity necessary to do what is right, even when no one is watching. To both encourage and allow others to become everything that they can be is our challenge. Exercise the freedom to become every day. Celebrate the freedom to become individuals of character who provide that same freedom for those masses who have come here, those who yearn to come here, and those who will come here in the future to find their own way to become.
Courage to become. Please take a couple moments and write some notes for Natalie, and we'll get those passed over to her a little bit later in the meeting. Our second speaker is Brittany, and Brittany has her dad. She has a lot of pressure.
I know.
Good breath. Tell me welcome, Brittany.
Hi, my name is Brittany Gwen, and I'd like to be very involved in the community. I'm a big part of 4-H, trying to make myself better through academics and trying to be a positive role model for others, which is what I wanted to do. Much like I am sure many of you are busy with the hustle and bustle of life, I too am very busy. Sometimes so busy that it's easy to forget to take a moment and appreciate the things that provide us with bountiful life. I was reminded of this when I noticed a tiny sign in my room that said, "Joy in little things." I would like to remind you to take a moment, maybe close your eyes, and to think of the gratitude that you feel for the little things in your life that add up to make it worthwhile. Whatever you thought of, you were able to enjoy this in part because of freedom, and that is worth celebrating. One of my favorite little memories, which the sign reminded me of, was getting to unwrap a little piece of candy as I watched the Loyalty Days parade go by. To be honest, it was definitely more than just one piece, and although I don't remember my first parade since I was only 3, I have fond memories of this celebration. Although Loyalty Days is a fun experience with wonderful people, a beautiful performance, and a wonderful parade, the Loyalty Days event is about so much more than that. It's about showing our loyalty and appreciation of freedom. I have gotten to feel this joy in our community tradition, a community built on freedom. As I remember walking down the Loyalty Days parade for the first time, I'm taken back to the little memory a pink tie bandana on my dog, and walking my friends side by side. I remember the pride that I felt after training my dog the entire year, and then being able to watch him follow my commands as we walked down the parade together. The parade brought our community together just like it brought me and my dog together. I like looking forward to the same thing this year, except this time I won't be walking. As I've gone down the highway while either riding or walking in the parade, I look to our left and see City Hall, a symbol of our community freedom. As I'm almost 18, I will then be able to vote. Very exciting. A freedom which I will definitely not take for granted. Voting gives us a voice. Our freedom of speech, and how our protections and opportunities are run. Next time you bubble in your ballot, think about this as a moment to celebrate your freedom. As I have grown up, I have been blessed enough to experience support in a way that goes beyond just the definition of freedom. I haven't just had the right to think, to speak, to act in a way that goes beyond what I've wanted without hindrance, but I've also been able to see how American freedom helps us go beyond our hindrances. One example of this is how we aren't just offered the ability to become educated, but we are given an education. It is hard to accept that there are some people in the world who are being oppressed from education and other things which everyone deserves. Having grown up in a family with a mother who teaches professionally and a father who has persevered to graduate high school, being only one of 4 siblings to graduate. This has taught me to value and perseverance worthy of education. This freedom is not given to everyone, and I'm very appreciative to have a quality education. I'm appreciative of all the little moments when I've been studying in class and I felt it all put together. In my English class last year, I could always look up and see a quote on Mr. Thompson's wall saying, "Small things done consistently over time result in the profound." This can be applied to freedom. If we consistently appreciate and celebrate freedom, we can maintain freedom's vitality. There are big celebrations like the Loyalty Days Parade, active celebrations like voting, and little reminders of how freedom impacts our lives. As you continue on, take time to enjoy freedom through the little moments of life. Thank you.
I'm curious, have you been able to get your dog into the parade yet?
Not yet.
All right, please make sure you write some notes down for her as well, Brittany, so that she can have some feedback. Did I ask you to do the last quote last time? I can't remember. There was the one that you just, that's in the classroom. What was that quote?
The quote was, "Small things and persistence over time result." And I tried to find who it was by, but
Great. That's a great.
yeah, Mr. Charleston's wall.
Take a picture of that and put it on your footnotes, right?
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Our last speaker is Lupe. She will be evaluated by Lee. Lupe, welcome Lupe up this evening lecture.
My name is Guadalupe Martinez. I was born and raised in Newport. I like to be involved in a lot of community activities. I'm involved with our leadership program at our high school. I also do soccer, golf, and swim. We just finished up swim, so not so much swim. But yeah. When you think of America, you might think of freedom or hope. As Americans, we can put our faith in what America. Each of us have a right to object what we think is wrong as a person or as a whole nation. We do that by moving like voting or going to protest to express our voice. I believe in my country because our leaders gave us the freedom to stand up for what we believe in. Politics and democracy are central issues in today's society. The freedom to hold different views politically doesn't exist in certain regions. In global studies, we learned about how China limits the information that certain people people get in their country. The liberty to pick a leader of your choice is one that people take for granted. We don't go to the polls as much, but it's something that I want to push our generation to be able to do. You can speak your mind without without the fear of being reprimanded, as long as it doesn't infringe on the right of others. This is what freedom in America looks like. Journalists are not denied the chance to report the news as it is. The opportunity to speak your thoughts and mind is just freedom of expression, and that in itself is a beautiful thing. To disagree and to be able to have a nice conversation with someone is something we often overlook. The fact that you can get up each morning and speak as you wish on social media, through music or poetry, among those, must be appreciated. There are places where the government regulates access to media platforms, such as Instagram, Facebook, or Snapchat. All that America really asks of you is that you don't misuse the freedom by causing harm to others or yourself. The situation is quite the opposite in some continents where dictatorships are the order of the day. In such regime, a lot of people have died for expressing citizens is not a guarantee, but in America it is. You can be assured that you can and will pick a leader of your choosing. Political freedom is another level in our great nation, being able to have options that you can either strongly agree with or disagree with, or if you feel so strongly, it could even be you, an option of candidacy. Our founding fathers accorded freedom of press such a prominent placement in our Constitution because it represented the inherent values and liberties that the United States is founded on. Citizens of other countries do not feel as secure in their country as we do in America. We have a strong military that not only keeps us safe, but helps protect other countries. We strive not only for the safety of our country, but also to keep peace in our world. Our country has made sacrifices to achieve what we have. If we were not given the opportunity to speak our minds, we might not have the thought and we would not be where we are today. The liberty to realize your dreams can only happen in America. There's a saying that dreams only come true in America. Well, the system of society is such that it is open to one and all, and what they have to offer. If you're good at something, don't shy away from it, because all in all, we can make our nation a greater place. There are countless opportunities available for your dreams to be realized. I get the opportunity to realize that right now as I've gotten accepted to college and strive for a better future for myself as a first-generation student. With that, I leave you. To be good and to do good is all we have to do. So I ask for you to do as good, to be the best person you can and to do good for others.
Thank you. Please make sure you write down some notes that we can pass along to everybody. To be good and to do good. That's a pretty good chart. So we've had 3 really good lessons this morning on how to be better, how to be good people better. As we take a few minutes and write some things down for our princesses, I'm going to go across the world now, and I am going to I'm going to start way over in Uzbekistan, and Svetlana is a very accomplished woman, and she's a counselor, and I believe you have a master's degree.
I do.
And she does, and she has a very interesting outlook, and I felt it was important that we have for our young ladies here to hear some wisdom from some successful women, and we're going to start all the way across the world and let Svetlana give some advice to our princesses. And so listen really close to Svetlana.
Thank you so much. Really warm greetings from Tashkent and Samarkand, maybe across the world, maybe Uzbekistan even doesn't sound that impressive, but if you look at the planet, at the globe, we're exactly on the opposite side. You know, maybe the meridian is the same, but it's like, you know, the opposite. And I visited America several times. My children live in America, and America feels like a different planet. But today is about you. I listened to 3 speeches, yes, and I noted the difference, the change that took place in you as speakers. Your crowns, you know, the crown produces that gravitas. I like this word, and I'm so happy that I have the right kind of opportunity to use it very properly for you. I want to say that when living your lives, you will actually be living so many lives just in one life. You know, there are many transitions in lives depending on which stage of your life you are, and you will experience the maturity and freshman, you know, attitude, or the state of being very, very new, very, very innocent and inexperienced at the beginning of the next cycle. It's literally like, you know, you come out of the kindergarten at the last year, in the last year of the kindergarten, you're the most knowledgeable one. You're the wisest, you're the biggest. You come to school and you're like a little chicken, you know, you're so new and anybody can say anything to you. But now you graduate from school and you're the strongest, the wisest, the most knowledgeable one, the strongest. And you go to the university or to college. Again, you're so new, you're so inexperienced. And I think it is very exciting, it is very beautiful about life that we have this, you know, transition periods. We have several different cycles, many cycles, really, that give us this opportunity to live and relive. And, you know, when I look at you, I feel so happy because I can also experience that together with you, you know, that period of life that you're going through. All of the speeches today were about freedom. You know, as a student at school, we studied that poem by Rudyard Kipling, The White Man's Burden. But I was thinking that, well, actually, democracy, freedom, they are the modern person's burden. We need to protect those values. And actually, American people are at the forefront of that fight, of that struggle, or of that, you know. And I liked the definitions of freedom that were coming in your speeches, that it's responsibility, that it's duty, and all of these beautiful things that America is known for. They're also, you know, all kinds of duties and responsibilities attached to them. Your vocal variety was brilliant, your hand gestures, you were delivering your messages, you know, to the audience. You were actually interacting with the audience. So congratulations on today's speeches. It was great seeing you today. I hope I will see you again in the meetings. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're going to come back from the world, but we're going to stop in Denver, Colorado. We have Avital Miller, and she actually lived in this area for quite some time, and she's an award-winning author, and she's been all over the world here in the last year, going around doing tours and teaching and talking about her book and teaching different things. And today you're going to get an opportunity to listen to her for a few minutes, as well as she gives these young princesses her advice on starting out into the world.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And, you know, I still have a foot in the door there in Newport because I still have my house there. So I'm kind of bilocated right now in Denver. What I thought I would do is just focus on 3 main points for you all. And the first one is actually to really remember your age right now. It's not just your age, but it's the way you live your life. It's the way you perceive your life and your future. It's your attitude about life. I constantly remind myself, what was my attitude and perspective about life at your age? Because as you go through life, you're going to hear more and more people say what's not possible, and you're going to try things that might not work. But you never want to let that stop you. So whenever that comes up for me, I just go back to, okay, well, what was my attitude before anyone said anything or before that happened to me? You know, I had health issues, and the people in the club actually heard the full story about this. But I was on a hike in Bali about a year and a half ago, and I was not physically prepared for the hike, and I was still dealing a little bit with the health issues. And I was having what you might call PTSD of thinking, oh my God, like I might not make it, you know, my knees might break out and I might run out of energy on the way up the mountain. And then I decided I'm just going to put my mindset in what it was before I had any of those health issues. And that really invigorated me and took me all the way up the mountain, despite all of the challenges that were happening here. So keep that in mind as you're climbing your mountains. And then I'm going to say the next thing to think about is change. For me, the biggest constant of change has been myself. That may not always be the case. You're always going to have change around you. But in college, I graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering and a major in dance. I worked right out of college as a program manager at Microsoft. And then I quit that. I traveled around the world for a year. And then I became a yoga and fitness instructor, teacher trainer, fitness director. And then I decided that I'm moving into a yoga spiritual community. And I lived there for almost 7 years. And while I was there, I was leading the yoga teacher training, and I became the sales and marketing director of a book publishing company. And that spurred the whole book thing. And by the way, I just launched a second book with a group of people. So these things keep happening. And that one became a bestseller as well. So now I'm a 2-time best-selling author. But then so that's what I did after the community was I launched a couple books, and I've been traveling around and speaking. And I'm saying these things, but what I want you to tune into is not just that, oh, these changes happen, but these are very different lifestyles. These are very different careers. These are very different types of places to live. These are very different types of beliefs about life to have. And I attribute myself also being able to make so much change by being open. And as long as we're always open, you know, Einstein drew a circle on a whiteboard, a little circle, and he said, this is what you already know. He drew a bigger circle around that, and in the space in between, he said, this is what you can learn. You know, back then, maybe from the library, right now, from your teachers, from Google. But outside of that big circle, that's the space of imagination. That's where we can come up with what is new. And I'm telling you about not listening to anybody because in college, about 3/4 of the way through my freshman year, my ballet teacher pulled me aside during class and told me that I sucked at ballet and I would never get anywhere in that career. And, you know, I never necessarily wanted to be a professional dancer. I just loved dancing. So I cried for a week, but then I thought, you know what, I love dancing, so I'll just keep dancing and we'll see what happens. And then there I am traveling in Mexico, and this gentleman pulls me out of the place that I was dancing, you know, who was a local, and he said, you like to dance salsa? And I was like, oh, that's salsa? Okay, yes, I like to dance salsa. And he says, well, there's a competition in a month, and I think we could win it. And I'm like, really? Up against people who've been doing this since they were little kids? Yes. Lo and behold, he started training me for salsa. The competition was canceled. I can't tell you whether or not we won, but after that I became a professional salsa dancer. And then I'm traveling in India, and 2 weeks into the trip, I am performing Bollywood at the Miss South India pageant, nationally televised and in front of thousands of people, performing dance after my ballet teacher told me that I would never make it anywhere in that career. So always keep your chin up to those possibilities. And the last thing I would say, I talked about your age in the beginning, then I'm going to talk about your later age, and never let age stop you. Because I've mentioned I've restarted life despite my age. One of the fun things I'm doing now is I'm starting pointe in ballet again. I'm starting gymnastics again. And I'm working with a dance partner to do acrobatics and tricks. So everything is possible for you guys. And you all did wonderful, wonderful speeches. And you're all three already very motivated, articulate, intelligent women. So keep that going for you, and good luck.
Thank you.
So you think I have a chance at ballet?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's go back now. Can we get a timer's report?
Yes, I have never had this happen, but all three speeches were within 4 seconds of the same
Wow.
time. So now, and I didn't cut the time. I started the clock as soon as you started to speak. So your introduction, you can probably do about 15 seconds for the time that I'm going to give. But Natalie was 4 minutes and 27 seconds. Brittany was 4 minutes and 23 seconds. And Lupe was 4 minutes and 27 seconds.
Wow, thank you. Good job. Let's go on to our evaluators now. And Jaylene is going to be an evaluator for Natalie. So help me welcome Jaylene. That's ballet, right?
That's ballet, yeah. That's my ballet. They were all fabulous, just like last time, but you could definitely tell you were more polished. So, Natalie, I would say that your introduction was strong and confident, and your poise as before. I really appreciated the personal stories that, last time. See, I got feedback last time. Address the audience, not just Natalie. So I'm going to try to not just look at you. Your stories about your siblings and about dancing really helped us connect to your powerful message about what becoming looks like. Not just to talk about it, but to actually give us a feel for what it looks like. Your voice had conviction and enthusiasm, and I love that because you could tell that you loved the topic. Becoming is a meaningful topic to you, and you enjoyed talking about it. You had a lot of content that was very meaningful. You had the stories that were meaningful, and that's what I would turn up the volume on. Because the speech itself, you have great content, you have great quotes. The things that I'm going to share are just cherries on top. Right? So it's things like to really bring your energy and your presence to the room a little bit more, just to dial up the volume on that. You have such a great posture and poise, and maybe loosen up a little bit and have a little bit of fun up here now that you've got the content down. Vary your voice speed and tone just a little bit more. Plug in maybe a few pauses after some of those quotes that are really meaningful to you. Give us just a moment. Okay. That's all I got.
Thank you, Jenny. Our next evaluator is Larry, and Larry will be doing an evaluation of Brittany. So help me welcome Larry. Ballet update?
No, I don't think I'll be doing the ballet. I'm going to move.
That's a good idea.
So last time you were here and we took the picture at the end, I felt how tall all of you were compared to me. I was the shortest one there. And today you're 2 inches taller, I noticed. But you don't make me feel small. In fact, you make me feel better with your speech. I have two grandchildren, 18-month-old granddaughter, Nora, who's just a ball of energy. And she's pretty much in charge of the family already. and now we have a 6-week-old grandson. And so as I listen to you, you guys, you ladies are maybe one generation. You're the leading generation for my grandchildren. And that gives me a lot of confidence and hope because you're wonderful young women. And I think you're going to be the
We lost them. Oh, I can't hear you. You're muted.
Yes, we lost them.
So the internet's not steady yet, huh?
Pardon? No, I think it's the connection.
Yeah.
Yes, we had this before, and we are being recorded.
Yeah.
So,
hi.
Yes, it's so nice to see you. Did you lose a little bit weight? Did you lose weight a little bit? You did. Yeah, you look great. Very nice. It's so nice to see you.
Stand back and use your hands. You looked around the room really well, made great eye contact. There were a few times like you would do this, and then you do it again. It's almost like a dance step. And I was in my chair kind of dancing with you. But, you know, you also did some good things where you turn this way. So just kind of watch that one little step a little bit. But it's good to have some movement up here. And so I thought you looked more confident because you did have some movement. And it wasn't too distracting, so don't let that worry you. And Jaylene mentioned pauses. I think for everybody, your speeches aren't too long. You've got them narrowed down, so maybe speak just a little slower. Your speech pace was good, but you can even slow that down by leaving those pauses in once in a while, especially after you make a really good point. And then the other thing is just as you get more comfortable with this, just let your personality shine through, because more than anything, that's what people are going to be paying attention to and remembering is the personality. So just be yourself, basically. And that comes with practicing your speech even more. You've got it down now. And so just relax and let yourself be as relaxed as possible in front of the group. But yeah, you're on your way. All of you are just inspiring, and it's exciting to be able to listen. So thanks.
I'm going to move this back just a hair, just because that way our online audience can see us here.
So I didn't
So,
say that.
Larry was just a little shy, didn't want to be seen all around the world. So our last evaluator is Lee, and he will be doing a evaluation for you. Can you help me welcome Lee?
Dad. Brian. And just a little bit more.
What? Look at Lee.
Yes. This way. Thank Thank you. There we go.
We're all doing ballet.
Yes.
So what's the first thing we notice about Lupe? You got a great smile. You have a sister? You ever get mad at her? I can't imagine you not smiling. It comes with the territory. You. And I thought there was a lot of improvement on your speech since the last time. There are a couple of things that I would recommend for you. The first one is that you got really soft. And so for some of us over there, it was a little harder to hear. And I suspect that our people who are listening across the world were having a struggle because their microphones over there. So if you speak a little louder, imagine that you're talking to the person on the back row. And if you can't hear the microphone, you may have to just speak a little louder, make sure they're hearing. The other thing that I would recommend is we have a couple of postures that people take. This one we call the fig leaf. This one we call the reverse fig leaf. And you have your hands there most of the time. Now, if you get upset with your sister, you stand there and talk to her like this. No, your hands are up here, right? Okay, so you use your hands to communicate your speech. That's why we use gestures when we talk. It helps people see what we're saying in addition to hearing what we're saying. So I'd recommend that you get your hands out. It's okay for people to see them because that's how we communicate. You've had good organization. You have a great smile again. And you have improved making eye contact. You can still get more off your notes because the more you look at your notes, the less you're looking at the people. And I'm being more effective when I look at you than when I'm talking to Laura Lee and telling you that she has a great smile, right? So you want to get the eye contact. I saw a lot of improvement and use that smile to your advantage.
We have a little bit of time, well, for a couple of table topics. So Kathleen is going to ask you guys a couple of questions. This would be a great time to take a bite of food. So she doesn't call on you. So maybe we'll do two.
Just two?
Let's
All right.
And if we have more time, we can do all three.
All right. I'll let you volunteer then. Who would like to do first? All right. For you then, the question is, what can you do as a high school student to increase the patriotism among the young people your age?
Yeah, you can just stand right there. Yep.
So recently, for a scholarship at Newport High School, I was asked the question, what has been your greatest contribution to Newport High School? And so it made me think of the things that I have accomplished while I was there. And it brought up an idea for me for how many kids in our school on fight song. And I was like, wow, that's not very many, because I don't know the words to a fight song. And so along those lines, it reminded me of the fact that when you say the Pledge of Allegiance, there are people in our school who don't know the Pledge of Allegiance or who don't know all of it. And we do it at assemblies. But I would say that for me, it would be the opportunity to teach the students in my school the Pledge of Allegiance, because that is something that my parents taught me, and growing up has been important to me. Just to have that, I guess, pride in my country and to be able to know that, because I think that that is something that is very important, that if you live in this country, are a citizen, that you know.
Brittany, Lupe, who would like to be the next victim?
Last.
All right. My question has to do with voting, and that is there is a bill before the state legislature that would like to see people at the federal level, young people, to vote at 16. how do you plan to vote at 18 in order, how to study or prepare in order to do that? And do you think that 16-year-olds will be able to do the same?
Loaded question. Personally, I think one of the most important places we vote is locally. Voting for president is like equally as important. But I feel like we as a community should learn about small impacts that are happening now. I know they're currently working on a plastic bag ban that we should be more aware of to limit our plastic usage. And following up on that, talking to like people that work in our city hall or anything, like such a small thing you can do, but you can get so much knowledge out of that and like learn what people are doing and what's going on, how you can contribute to that. So yeah, going to our local like legislators and senators, like that's something we can do. 16-year-olds voting, although our maturity levels at 16 aren't the same as they are like what I feel like I am like. As a 16-year-old, we don't have that much knowledge that we can instill on our like actual everyday life. So I'm not quite certain about voting at 16.
You know, we actually have 2 minutes.
She's already standing up. You have one more.
I do. Brittany, what is your definition of patriotism? What does it mean to be patriotic these days? We don't have to fight in a revolution as they did in the 1700s. Most of us here are not involved in a war or a political occupation. So how can we be patriotic, and what does it mean?
I feel like this connects a lot to my speech and about like remembering the little things as being a way to be patriotic. It's important to be present when you're trying to express how you feel about something, and being patriotic is one of those things like what Natalie was saying about knowing the Pledge of Allegiance and remembering your roots when you think about America. And even if America isn't your roots, if you're still here and you're still being a part of this, it's something to be proud of, to have the opportunity to be in America, whether you live here or not. It's important to like respect places. Like my mom has always taught me, like when you're traveling and stuff, like don't be the tourist that like throws garbage on the ground, like instead pick it up. And I feel like that's like one way you can show respect to a country, whether you're from here or not. And having American patriotism, I feel like that's really important. Like what Lupe was saying about the trash ban, limiting plastic, we don't want to see that stuff flying around everywhere. So that's one way to be patriotic, is to show respect for the land that you're on and knowing the national anthem and being present in how you express yourself, being patriotic.
Thank you very much.